Welcome back, football fans, to the 5th episode of Bros Talk Football. I'm Jesse.
I'm Jake, of course.
And we are super excited to kind of get after it this week. We got some fun stuff to talk about.
Always good topics here at Bros Talk Football.
If you've read the title below, you know we're going to be talking a little bit about who we think should be the starting quarterback down in Tampa Bay. They've got a dilemma on their hands.
Big dilemma.
Big dilemma. Ryan Fitzpatrick has been absolutely electric to start the year.
Then you have Jameis Winston, who has been your franchise quarterback.
And they took him number 1 overall. It's a tough thing. Tough thing they got to navigate. We've kind of thought through this a lot, discussed it a lot on our own. I've spent a lot of time looking into arguments online, on SportsCenter, on First Take in the morning. We think Fitzpatrick should
Fitzpatrick is the
job.
guy that you ride for.
And that might not be a popular opinion. But what we're going to do here is we're going to take the 5 most prominent arguments we've seen for Jameis Winston.
Consensus of the internet that
the
we've
internet,
seen.
SportsCenter, wherever. And we're going to break those down one by one and make our argument against them.
Yes.
So what do we got the first one here, Jake?
Well, like you said, you mentioned earlier, he was a number 1 overall draft pick, and the Bucs built their franchise around this guy.
Right, they had plans to do that. I get it. I totally get it. Like, you want your number 1 overall guy to pay off. But there's something in business called a sunk cost. If you don't know what that means, basically it's just you've already spent the money. All that matters now is what happens going forward. You don't want to think about that past money that you've spent.
Yep.
You don't want to think about the investment you've made in Jameis Winston, because what does thinking about that investment do? It doesn't get you anywhere.
And what has he done for you lately?
What has he done for you lately? He got hurt last year. Before he got hurt, he looked awful.
Yes.
The number 1 pick argument just doesn't do anything for me.
I agree.
Doesn't do anything for me.
Second topic.
Right, and the second point we've seen online, this is not from us directly. People are saying this, that his off-the-field antics have nothing to do with his on-the-field play. I think that's ridiculous. What do you think?
It is ridiculous. I mean, you sit here and you look at all the things that are going on in locker rooms around the NFL. You have the Pittsburgh Steelers, the whole sit out with Le'Veon Bell. I mean, Antonio Brown's not showing up to practice. The Pittsburgh Steelers don't look like the normal Pittsburgh Steelers. You could definitely tell there's kind of a cancer in that locker room going on, and everyone kind of knows what it is. So you know what? I just disagree.
One, I think like he hasn't shown a very high maturity level with that stuff, right?
No.
Like that. So how are you supposed to lead 52 other grown men? How are they supposed to rally behind you?
They got to get behind
when
you
you
and
clearly
believe
have no
in you.
self-control and you're
don't.
making bad choices. It's hard to respect a guy who's not doing that. Argument number 3 for Jameis Winston. What do you got?
Well, everyone says he was athletic at FSU. He's athletic now. He's a young guy, 2015 draftee. He should have fresh legs. He should be ready to go.
Yeah, and I get this is a fairly valid argument.
This is kind of one thing that I might side with, but you know what? It's just it doesn't sell me on it. It doesn't sell me on him right now.
I will say, if you watched him last season before he got hurt, he looked terrible. Like, he looked like he had no idea what was going on, and you could tell
very lost. He looks real lost.
He didn't look that athletic out there, and so
looked
clearly,
very slow. Yes.
While he might have appeared very athletic at the college level, which is nothing to scoff at. College football is very competitive. Obviously, D1 football, he won a national title.
But there's a big jump between college and NFL, and that's what he can't do.
And in order for that athleticism to pay off, you have to be a truly superb athlete. You have to be crazy agile, have crazy speed. He has decent agility, decent speed. I think he's slowed down.
He just hasn't blossomed at all. Anyways, number 4, Fitz will collapse and be his old self again.
And this might happen. Like,
it's going to happen eventually.
It'll happen eventually, but that's why we're saying keep this guy in for now. We're not saying this guy needs to be your franchise QB and you need to keep him for the next 10 years and you're going to build your team around him.
Yep.
Not what we're saying.
He's 400 yards in 3 games.
3 straight games of 400 yards never happened in history.
Ever.
And that's
ride the hot hand.
Insane.
A lot of backup quarterbacks in the situation would crumble, but Ryan Fitzmagic
absolutely
didn't.
And that's what makes it feel different for me this time.
Yep.
Is normally when those 3 picks happen in the past, Fitz has collapsed. He's been a typical backup quarterback.
He's been that guy.
But he didn't this time. Love that. Number 5 here. It gives the Bucs the best chance to win right now if you put in Jameis Winston.
This one I've heard the
Wrong.
most.
Donald Trump voice. Wrong.
That is absolutely proved over and over again.
Wrong.
You are wrong.
Bing.
That is not true. And with how hot Fitz has been, with how unpredictable Jameis is going to be, he's had a long hiatus.
Yes.
You just don't know what's going to happen. I say ride the hot hand until he collapses. Get the wins you can out of Fitz.
That's the name of the game of football. That's the name of the game of football.
It truly is.
The momentum. All right, guys. Well, that's our take on the whole Ryan Fitzpatrick and Jameis Winston debate. But now let's get into our next segment of the video, shall we?
We're going to kind of get into some things we were right about. This is our favorite segment. You guys probably know that.
Yeah, because it feels good when you're right.
Yeah, it feels
good.
good.
Gratification.
Yeah. First thing is we called The Browns' first win in over 1.5 seasons.
Unlock those coolers,
Fantastic.
baby. Bud Light, sponsor us, please.
Dude,
We'll take some.
super satisfying to nail that. Baker Mayfield looked awesome.
Picture perfect script.
Yeah.
Couldn't have written it any better. Baker Mayfield comes in, secures the W. Even had a 2-point trick play there at the end. Good for you, Browns. You deserve it.
Next thing was, we said Ryan Fitzpatrick was going to have another great week. He, fantasy-wise, had a very good week.
He looked a little shaky there in the beginning. I thought maybe the magic was going to run out a little bit. But you know what? He looks like he went in there at halftime, pulled himself together, and slang the rock like he usually did the last 2 weeks. So
we told you to play him one more week, and if you listened, it paid off. I mean, he had those 3 picks the first half, but he absolutely electrified things the second half and tried to come back. Next big one, I'm really stoked about this. I even drafted him in one of my leagues.
I drafted
think
him
Jake
as well.
did as well.
Yes.
Calvin Ridley
Out of
has
Alabama.
looked fantastic.
Yes.
Bama born or Bama raised, Bama grown. What do they say? Anyway, irrelevant. The fact is, this guy has been fantastic. He scored as many touchdowns this last game as Julio Jones did the entire last season.
I feel like Calvin Ridley has a lot better of a chemistry with Matt Ryan than Julio Jones is. I feel like there's still a little bit of hostility. You can probably cut it with a knife.
Next big one, Jake's felt really great about him since the beginning.
I felt great about him since week
Geronimo
1.
Allison.
Geronimo Allison, baby. Geronimo times
week.
3. Yeah, another
What was it,
big week.
76 yards and a tutty?
76 yards and a tutty. I grant, it was only 2 receptions, but you know what? Hey,
Take it.
76 yards and a
You'll take
tutty. I'll be happy with that performance any day on my fantasy league.
Absolutely. We've got a couple quick streamers, couple quick waiver wire picks for fantasy football. This is our brief fantasy football segment.
Yes.
To try to help you win this week's matchup.
One of my streamers that I have on my list, Baker Mayfield. You saw him do it last week. He's going to do it again. The Raiders are good. They're giving up an average of 8.7 yards per pass attempt. They've only had 5 sacks this season, so I think Baker Mayfield comes out and performs for sure.
And I've got, as a streamer this week, I've got Ryan Tannehill. This guy looked fantastic last week. He played great. Had a lot of long touchdowns. I mean, there are going to be a lot of people this week who have Cam Newton on bye. If you had Jimmy Garoppolo as your starting QB, he just got hurt.
Poor Jimmy, man.
Yeah, poor Jimmy, dude. That's tragic. I think Ryan Tannehill is a fantastic streamer for this week.
Definitely.
Moving on
Let's
to a
get into
couple
our
of
waivers.
waiver wire stashes.
Yes.
Maybe don't play them immediately, but these are guys that could bring you some fantasy value in the long haul. What do you got, Jake?
My guy I've been high on all season, even since week 1, Mike Williams, the wide receiver from your Los Angeles Chargers. This guy has been going off lately. I mean, he's had 11 receptions for 189 yards, 3 touchdowns in his last 3 games. I mean, he looks like Phillip Rivers' secondary target behind Keenan Allen for sure.
And Keenan Allen's kind of got blanketed by
They're going to double
secondaries,
cover
so.
him, and Mike Williams has the speed to get downfield. Mike Williams all the way.
Just in case you've got some tight end troubles, who doesn't have tight end troubles unless you've got maybe Zach Ertz or Rob Gronkowski? Even he hasn't been that great this year. I would say give this dude a look. The king of the stiff arm this week, or Monday night,
Monday
man.
night.
Vance McDonald.
Fantasy Reaper from last
Fantasy
week.
Reaper.
We told you guys
we did
Jesse
talk about
James.
Jesse James. Yeah, we were right about a tight end for Pittsburgh going off.
Yeah, one of the 2, I guess.
Yeah, but I would say, I mean, Vance McDonald was he was on the Niners for a while, and he made some plays while he was over there.
Got good hands.
With an awful quarterback situation, he's got good hands.
Showed the speed. I mean, that
Showed the
stiff arm.
speed.
We posted that one on our
Very
Instagram.
impressive.
Oh
He's a
god.
large man.
So Tannehill and Mayfield for the streamers.
Waiver wire bench stashes, Vance McDonald, Mike Williams. Maybe even play Mike Williams if you want.
I'd play Mike Williams this week too.
Yeah, I think I would start him.
All right, guys, you heard everything here first. From the debate to our streamers and waivers. Let us know what you think in the comments down below. Don't forget to give us a follow on Instagram, bros_talk_football. We have our Twitter for any Twitter questions or Twitter people out there, bros_talk_ff. And of course, like and subscribe our video down below.
Let's get it next week.
Bros Talk Football.
Hope you guys win your matchups. Have a good week. That's the least helpful thing you could be doing.
No, actually, if I played the Jeopardy song, then that would be bad.
I'm trying to think of how to phrase this in a way that'll make sense and be simple.
Boop, 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 boop.